Now, let's meet the members and teams of the class of 2023. Please come up on stage as I call your names. Hartnell, softball, 1991 to 1993. Steve Ish, men's basketball, 1971 to 1973. Gerhard Kisley, swimming and water polo, 1977 to 1978. Chris Libbert, rodeo, 1972 to 73 and 1974 to 76. James Brewster Thompson, track and field and wrestling, 1972 to 74. Mike Ward, track and field, 1995 to 1997. Lloyd Higgins, football coach, 1981 through 1992. And softball coach from 1982, also in 1991. Joanne Trevino Steves, support staff 30 plus years. Dennis Lennon, former KSBW sports director and sports anchor. George Watkins, former sports writer, the Californian. And now the teams, please stand at your tables. The 1958 football team. The 1981 football team. And the 2005 men's cross country team. As we will hear later in the program, each one of you has made your own unique contribution to the rich and enduring tradition of Panther athletics that spans over a century. We are also especially pleased to welcome our inductees' families and friends. Your presence makes this day more memorable for all of us, but especially for our honorees. Thank you all for being here and congratulations. Inductees and team members, you may be seated at your table. Let's give them a nice round of applause, everyone. And now I want to recognize several special guests who are with us today. Please hold your applause to the end as I introduce these individuals. Aurelio Salazar Jr., President of the Hartnell Community College District Governing Board. Candy DePaul, Hartnell College Governing Board, District 7. Jackie Cruz, Vice President of Advancement and Development and Executive Director of the Hartnell College Foundation. Steve Goldman, Chair of the Panthers Athletic Council. And President Superintendent Michael Gutierrez, who will join us later in the program. Let's give these individuals a nice round of applause. Finally, it's my pleasure to introduce to you an individual who's come to personify Hartnell Athletics and is part of a proud Panther family legacy as well. Dean of Athletics, Dan Teresa. He is a captain of active in baseball and football and son of the late Tony Teresa, the legendary football and baseball player and coach. Dan has led Hartnell Athletics for 14 years as Director of Athletics and Dean of Academic Affairs for Athletics, Physical Education, and Health. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dan Teresa.
I want to thank everybody for attending this 10th annual Hartnell Athletics Hall of Fame. It's been the 11th year, but 1 year we missed because of COVID. So I appreciate everybody coming. This is an awesome crowd, sellout crowd. So this is incredible to see a lot of faces here and teams and individuals. So thank you very much for coming. I also want to thank some very important people that have made this special day for many people. I want to thank President Gutierrez, who will speak later on. Vice President Catherine Wilkinson, my boss, Vice President, and our Board of Trustees members for supporting our programs, who will be introduced later in the program. I'd also like to thank Hartnell College Foundation, who's been huge for us. The leader of that group, and I love her to death, is Jackie Cruz, Chris Edmonds, Savannah Harris, Donita Portman, Terry Yagali, Megan Brent, and Jen Ferguson. Thank you. We can hold the applause to the end so I get through, so I know we got a lot of things going on. I appreciate it. A very special thanks to people who are truly instrumental in making this event happen, and put in a ton of tireless work for an entire year behind the scenes. Can I have Chris Edmonds stand here, please? Can I have Marcy Bracco? Is Marcy around? I know she's in the back, usually doing the registration. Can I have Savannah Harris? Where's Savannah? Savannah, can you come up, please, in front? Can I have Joanne Torino Seams come up, please? She's one of our inductees. Can you guys come up real quick, Joanne? The reason why I'm having these people, Marcy's in the back, I was trying to get her. This is an incredible event. We are one of the few colleges in the state that does this Hall of Fame every year. For these people to find the names, addresses, bios, pictures, and so much other information for over 300 people each year is a very tall task, and also helping set up this event. And they do this year-round. They help me year-round. We will be working on the next Hall of Fame later this month. Please give this wonderful, incredible ladies a big hand. This is Thank you. Thank you. Without them, this would not happen. It's unbelievable what they do. Also, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee. Never, ever an easy job. There are so many worthy people and teams that can be inducted every year. Thank you, Mark Graham, Jackie Cruz, Erica Michaels, Willard Llewellyn, Richard Givens, Carolyn West Carnoff, Chris Edmonds, Vanessa Gonzalez, Bill Freeman, Andy Watt, and Bob Kelly. Thank you very much. Also, great team, Barbara Elliott here. Mrs. Elliott and her late husband, Bill Elliott, have great supporters of our athletic programs. Bill also helped start our very first Hall of Fame 11 years ago. He also is being inducted this year with the 1958 team, football team. I want to give you a little bit of an overview of what's been going on. I know a lot of you are all over the states. We'll kind of tell you a little bit what's going on last year, what happened last year in our sports programs. 155, we got about 330 student athletes now. 155 student athletes were on the president's list or dean's list. We transferred over 85%. We transferred over 85% of our to the university level. We had 89% retention rate. Over 50% of our sophomores received scholarships, academic or athletic scholarships, and 84% of our students were local. That's what happened last year. In 2022-23, Hartnell Athletic Department was awarded the Bud Ottmar Memorial All Sports Award. This award is to the most successful athletic programs out of 16 teams, 16 programs in the Coast Conference in the Central California. 6 teams were Coast Conference champions. 2 teams came in second in the conference. 10 teams of the 15 made it to the state playoffs. 5 coaches were named Coach of the Year. 2 teams won the NorCal Championship, and the women's track team won an unprecedented NorCal Championship for 4 years in a row. In 2022-23, Hartnell College athletic programs were ranked number 10 in the state out of 104 athletic programs and 23rd in the nation out of 532 community colleges. We had 20 student athletes that transferred to four-year university receiving the Bill Elliott Scholarship. Each athlete received $2,000. This is awarded to our students who excelled academically, athletically. They did community service and sportsmanship. So that was the Bill Elliott Scholarship. A big reason for this, and he'll talk later on, for this scholarship award is because of a credible job of our Panther Athletic Council, led by Steve Goldman. Last year alone, they raised over $85,000 for these sophomores to transfer on to the university level. The members are Steve Goldman, Candy DePaul, Jackie Cruz, Sharon Dillback, Margaret Diorito, Martha Gatsis-Yuschig, Mike Grimm, Ron Guzman, Mark Hebert, Art Hunsdorfer, Steve Ish, Mark Sindel, Liddell Scoto, Sam Spadoni, Wayne Tucker, Ralph Vasquez, Chris Edmonds, and Onita Fortman. Thank you very much, Pat. I really appreciate that. And we raised more money this year. Chris doesn't want to say the amount yet, but that'll be for Steve Goldman. I don't want to take over your thunder, Steve. I want to thank my coaches, the staff for the incredible job they've been doing. Matt Collins, Chris Cepeda, Daniel Ortega, Jamie Pedroza, Ivan Guerrero, Andy Basher, Steve Terry, Joel McCown, Natalie also Dua, and Kyle Zaplak. My amazing support staff, Joanne Venegas. She's my admin assistant. Without her, I don't know what I'd do. Cynthia Zamora, our program assistant. Our sports counselor, Rich Gibbons. We're one of the few community colleges that have a full-time sports counselor. Athletic trainers, Dave Beamer, Emily Brown. Equipment manager, Roddy Chikawa. Game operations, Phil Garcia. Admin assistant, marketing. That's Vanessa Gonzalez, who's done a superior job with our Facebook, all the big social media. She's done it all for us. She's done a tremendous job. Also want to thank the assistant to the vice president of academic affairs, Dina Hayashi. Again, thank you for all your support and for all you coming to this great event. I hope you have a fantastic day. Let's go Panthers.
Okay, we are ready. Our first inductee is Carol Agamau. Carol Agamau's love for baseball came early in life, but her passion for softball would come later. She started playing baseball at age 8 at the Continental Little League in Salinas. She transitioned to softball at age 13, and her all-star team went to the national tournament several times. After dominating youth softball in Salinas, Agamau became a diamond star for 4 years at North Salinas High School. She then played softball at Hartnell for 2 years under Coach Andy Watt and the Panthers, earning All-Coast Conference first-team honors in 1993. An accomplished shortstop who turned heads with her defense, Agamau batted leadoff that season, hitting .413, scoring 17 runs and stealing 5 bases. Agamau transferred to San Diego State, where she earned a place on the travel team, but made the difficult decision not to play so she could focus on her academics. After earning a BS in Food and Nutrition Services, an MS in Nutritional Science, and becoming a registered dietitian, she worked as a dietitian at the Community Hospital of Monterey Peninsula, the Natividad Medical Center, and the VA in Fresno. She currently resides in Clovis and is married to her high school sweetheart, Miguel Beltran. She has 2 daughters, Adria, 21, and Kensley, 10. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Agamau.
I just want to say thank you to my family who's here, who's always been supportive, always, of all the sports that I've been involved in, academics, and just in life. And to Coach Watt, who just a great man, just got me here to Hartnell and just did everything he could to help me out, and a great coach, a great mentor, cared about all of his players on the field, off the field, as students, as athletes, and just as people. Thank you, Coach Watt.
Once again, everyone, Carol Agamau. Our next inductee is Steve Ish. Steve Ish played on the Hartnell men's basketball team for 2 years, from 1971 to 73. 1972-73 posted a 22-4 record and shared the Coast Conference title with Menlo College. Steve was selected to the Coast Conference All-League team and to the California All-State team. He loved scoring, but most of all, Steve loved the challenge of shutting down the opponent's top scorer. Steve feels fortunate to have had great coaches throughout his basketball career who had a positive influence on him as a person, player, and student. Those included Bill Getris, Salinas High lightweight basketball team, Russ Messner, Salinas High varsity team, Len Wilkins, Hartnell men's basketball team, and Hartnell athletic director Bob Kelly. Steve is currently at Taylor Fresh Foods, where he works on special projects focusing on the downtown Salinas revitalization. Steve has contributed to the community in many ways, including as a Salinas Union High School District Board member, 2 4-year terms on the Salinas City Council, and president of the Salinas Chamber of Commerce. Steve and his wife Amy celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary in August of this year and have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Everyone please welcome Steve Ish.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hartnell College. It's not the Hartnell College that I played at, basically about, I guess, what was that, 50 years ago? Maybe 51 years ago when you add it all in. What has happened here at this campus is absolutely fantastic, the growth. One thing that I'm a little jealous about, and I am going to introduce Glenn Stonebarger, who is here. He was our point guard on that team, and without him, I wouldn't be here, okay? So Glenn, please stand up. Together we had all kinds of fun with Lenny. Lenny was and is a great coach. And when the games would happen in the old gym, and remember, that's where we played, in the old gym, we were supposed to open our second year there in the new gym. It never happened. And we hold that a grudge a little bit because we know we would have packed the place. Because when you came to Hartnell to watch us in that second season when we got all the way to Menlo for the second time around, the gym was filled at 6 p.m. And the first time it was filled at 6 p.m. and we would come out for that shoot around. The first time that thing was filled, I have to say, I had to go back in and do some things to come back out again. But it was just a fantastic feeling to see the little kids that were there asking for autographs. I mean, my gosh, what is this all about? And then that just continued on over and over and over again. And when Menlo came the first time and we took care of them, they were in awe because of all the people there. And that's what I really want to see happen again here at Hartnell College, is I want to see the Hartnell men's and women's basketball team pack the gym that we should have played in. Because one, the 2 programs are doing fantastic, but we have to find a way to get the people into the gyms and see the college for what the college is today. I mean, look at it. As Glenn said, this is not the place I went to school. It isn't. And we're trying to do everything we possibly can on the fundraising side of things to get it pointed into that direction. So with that, I'm going to leave it right there, because otherwise I'm going to probably shed a few tears up here, because Hartnell has meant everything to me, okay? Everything to me. And I'm going to throw in the story. So, my wife, I met her in high school. We were here. We were in love. And she knew how much I loved to play basketball. But something happened within my family, because we had Stewart's Housewares and Gifts in downtown Salinas, and I was called to the family business. But it was actually probably, as I look back at it, one of the best things that ever happened in my life. Because Amy and I went on to get married. And the rest is history. Thank you.
Everyone, Steve Ish. Our next inductee is Gerhard Kisling. Etched in stone, Gerhard Kisling his goal was to become Hartnell's first All-American swimmer and receive full scholarship to a university. Mike Garibaldi made a promise to coach up his protege to not only become an All-American, but to set Panther swimming records in the 200 freestyle, the 1000 freestyle, the 1650 freestyle, the 100 butterfly, and the 200 butterfly. The record set in 1978 still stand to this day. As a water polo player, Kisling led his Panthers in scoring, and while a senior at Salinas High School set a world record for the longest continuous water polo game in the Panther pool. At the state championships, Kisling reached his first goal, an All-American in the 100 and 200 butterfly. Next, he attended Golden West College and set a school record in the 100 butterfly. He received a full-ride swimming scholarship to Colorado State University, where he led the Rams to the WAC Division I championships. Next, he attended the University of Hawaii on a full-ride scholarship, leading the Rainbow Warriors to the WAC championships. Kisling graduated from the University of Hawaii with a degree in business marketing. Kisling went on to marry and have 3 children. He owns a successful commercial plumbing company in Southern California, employing 26 people. A nice round of applause for Gerhard Kisling.
Yes, first I want to thank all the many support groups that I've heard tonight for Hartnell College. Hartnell certainly played a key role. I was not quite fast enough coming out of high school to receive that full ride scholarship. And first I want to thank Coach Mike Garibaldi. He had the vision and the faith in me to take me to the next level. And he was quite inspirational. Not the easiest coach at times, though. There was a time my mother, by the way, she wasn't too concerned about how happy I was, okay? All she wanted me to do was win, okay? And it was a water polo game. I believe we were playing MPC, and we were whooping them pretty good by like 10 goals. And so we come to the side during the quarter, and Coach says, okay, can't shoot with your good arm anymore. You got to shoot with your opposite arm. You know, we don't want to be unsportsmanlike here. And I look up in the stands, and there's my mother kind of looking at me, giving me the look like, you need to be high score, or, you know. So I go back out, and I look up at Coach. I look at my mom. Sorry, Coach, Mom won. And soon I was taken quickly out of the game. But Mike was... like I said, he was quite an inspirational coach, and I'm so blessed here. This award is about the people that I'm with here today. My best friend, John, who I swam with at Colorado State University. My son and his wife. She's so young, I lost it. And Jonathan Kenyon, Dr. Jonathan Kenyon is one of the first, I was able to coach him when he was 4.5, and one of the only kids that I could ever see do all 4 strokes at 4.5. And then, of course, my sister, Karin, who literally sat by the pool deck when I did those 100-100s. Coach, you said it was on the 120. I did it on the 110. I did have to drop down to the 120 on the last 30 or so. But 100-100s, that was quite a set, 10,000 yards of swimming at one time. Again, I'd like to get back to Hartnell and just thank him for building that pool. What amazing 50-meter facility. Okay, without that pool, there are just so many other people here that were amazing. We've got fellow Hall of Fame people like Tom Campbell, Claire Shackelford. You know, without that pool and without that facility, I don't think it could have happened, because all we had before Hartnell built it was the Salinas Y pool, which was like swimming in a bathtub in comparison. So again, I just want to thank, by the way, also John's sisters and family are here as well. I certainly don't want to forget them, Shelley and Bridget and her daughter. Again, it's the relationships that I had and the people that helped me achieve what I was able to achieve. I certainly couldn't have done it on my own. And the last thing is my faith is very important to me as a Christian. I thank the Lord for guiding my life. Thank you.
A nice round of applause for Gerhard Kiesling. Our next inductee is Chris Libert. How about a nice round of applause for Chris, everyone? In the 1970s, Hartnell Rodeo was a premier program on the West Coast, led by Libert's talent in both roping and steer wrestling. The Hartnell Panthers rodeo team made it all the way to the national championships in Bozeman, Montana, placing third. Coach Lyric had a significant influence on Libert. Coach Lyric and his wife took care of all the athletes, all whom had plenty of opportunity to practice and hone their skills. After Hartnell, Libert went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he's one of 3 aces on the rodeo team that won the national title. A member of the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association since 1976, Libert qualified for the national finals rodeo 8 times in tie-down roping and 5 times in steer wrestling. He won his first world title in the all-around category in 1982 and followed that with a world title in the tie-down roping in 1986. In 1982, he became the first PRCA cowboy to earn 6 figures prior to the National Finals Rodeo. He was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in 2006 and the Rodeo Hall of Fame Historical Society in 1982. Libert currently lives on the Libert Ranch near Forestburg, Texas, where he raises beef, cattle, and the AQHA horses for roping and barrel racing. Please put your hands together for Chris Libert.
I'd like to thank the committee for considering a cowboy for this honor. It's a great one. They've got a few back there that also are very, very good. When I came to school here, there was not a lot of scholarships for the Cowboys, and you didn't get dorms, stuff like that. So for the first month or so I lived here, we lived in a camper shell, me and 2 other guys in the shed row at the rodeo grounds. And so, like I said, we didn't have a lot, and we'd go over to the school farm here. John Lyric and his wife Pat worked there, and we'd go over there and have breakfast. She'd make hotcakes or something for us to eat, and then we'd go practice whenever we got through with classes or whatever. But Bob Kelly and John were big pushers for the rodeo program. I'm sorry Bob's not here, and John's in Montana right now. But it's the quality of people that they hired and what they would do for you. I mean, John just worked for the school. He worked on the farm. He wasn't a teacher at the time. And him and his wife took care of his kids, and we always had livestock to practice on at home. I didn't have that opportunity like I did here, and the years I had here is what I'm sure helped me get to a level that I was able to compete and make a living and enjoy that lifestyle that I had. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you all and the school for the people that they employ and keep around to help crazy people like myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Our next inductee is James Brewster Thompson. Named by the Salinas Californian as one of the top 25 local athletes of the century from the 1900 to 2000, James Brewster Thompson was a multi-sport athlete at North Salinas High and at Hartnell, where he excelled in track and field and wrestling. Thompson was an all-conference in the triple jump 400-meter hurdles and high jump. In 1974, he was second in the state in the decathlon. He was the Coast Conference wrestling champion in his weight division, placed third in the Northern California and eighth in the state. In his first year at Hartnell, Thompson was also lettered in football and was a third man on the fencing team. At San Jose State, Thompson was the national collegiate champion in judo in 1975 and 1977. He fought in 2 judo world championships and 3 world championships in sumo wrestling, placing 6th in the world in sumo in 2005. In 1984, he fought in 2 Olympic trials, judo and Greco-Roman wrestling, placing 2nd in judo and 6th in Greco-Roman. The former Panther wrestler has performed strength acts that wowed audiences from schools to appearances on the Today Show and The Late Show with David Letterman. The jump rope master, Brewster holds the Guinness World Record for greatest weight supported while skipping rope 10 times. He is most proud of the impact he has had on children through more than 2,000 school assemblies across the country. Thompson currently lives in Las Vegas and spent much of his career as a juvenile counselor for the Santa Clara County Probation Department. Please welcome James Brewster Thompson.
First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for putting me on the list this year. And I know a couple of people on the committee that worked real hard on making sure this goes smoothly. And then also, I'd like to thank the people who served in the military in the audience. Thanks for your service. We appreciate it. And then basically, I'd like to thank some of the coaches that have influenced me, that made it possible for me to be here today. North Salinas, we had Bob Steinbeck, my basketball coach. He introduced me to jump rope. When he first asked me to jump rope, I said, that's for sissies, sir. He said, James, if you don't jump rope 10 minutes every day, I'm going to have you guys do extra suicide drills. That's where you touch these equal distance lines in the gym. And I said, Coach, we're already doing 20 minutes of that already. He said, well, you say you don't want to jump rope. I'm going to add more of the suicide. I said, Coach, give us the jump rope. So all of us started jump roping, and that year we were championship of the league, and we only changed one thing from the year before, and that was add the jump rope to it. And so I said, man, that jump rope is something else. So ever since then, I've had a jump rope with me. Even when I went on my honeymoon with my wife, the jump rope was in bed with us. Also, as you guys know from seeing the pictures over there, I'm a professional ventriloquist. And the ventriloquist figure is named Soul Brother Ricky. And Soul Brother Ricky was in bed with us too. So the jump rope and comedy has always been with me my whole life. But I'd like to thank Bob Steinbeck for introducing me to that jump rope, because if it wasn't for the jump rope, I wouldn't be here today, because all my sports improved because of me jumping rope every day. And then also, I was able to go to the White House twice, perform for Bush Sr. and the Clintons. And Barbara Bush sent me a letter of thank you, so that was real nice. But that was all because of the jump rope. And all the sports I've been in, the jump rope made it better. So if you guys are coaches out there, get your kids jumping rope 4 or 5 days a week. Also, I'd like to thank Gary Shaw, the track coach at Hartnell here, because he was a major influence in my life, because he introduced me to the decathlon. And so I was training in all those 5 events. He had me do 7 events in one track meet. I jumped from one event to the next event, and shot put, discus, javelin, pole vault, I was doing it all. And he would have me run with the cross-country team in Toro Park, where he'd be 2 miles uphill, 2 miles downhill, and he had us run from North Salinas High School all the way to Hartnell. And I remember passing the cemetery in the south part of Salinas, and I said, this would be a nice place to rest right now. But Shaw was that way. He trained us so hard that when I did sports the rest of my life, I remember that training and how hard it was on me. And I worked out hard in everything that I wanted to do. I got my black belt in judo in 10 months' time. It usually takes 2.5 years to 5 years. I'm a black belt in judo, sumo, and jujitsu. And so, but it was all because of the training I got here at Hartnell. So I'm very thankful for this school. And I hope that in the future, I'm still healthy enough to still jump rope a little bit. I got a bulging disc in my back that I'm seeing a doctor for right now, and my mom don't want me to jump rope anymore. But I would like to thank everyone again at this school for making it possible for me to get there. And Frank, the wrestling coach at Hartnell, he was amazing, the best coach I ever had. And I know he's somewhere in Gonzales or somewhere in the area, but he was on the Olympic team as a alternate for wrestling in '68. So when I had to wrestle with him in Hartnell, he was beating us all up in practice and talking to us at the same time. One of the greatest coaches ever. I'd like to thank him, and I hope some people know him in the audience and let him know I really appreciate it. I love all you guys, and I hope you have a good time the rest of the day.
Thank you, James. Our next inductee is Mike Ward. At LSL High School, Mike Ward won the state championship in the 400 meters and held the record for the 100, 200, and 400 meters. He was excited to join the Hartnell track and field team, where he says Hartnell owned the Coast Conference. Mike credits Coach Gary Shaw and sprint coach Theodis Winham for instilling confidence in him. Gary Shaw coached both Mike and his younger brother and was so influential that Mike says he was part of the Ward family. He went above and beyond for his athletes and instilled in them the Hartnell way. At Hartnell College, Mike was the Coast Conference champion in the 100, 200, and 400 meters and was second in the state in the 400 meter and 400 meter hurdles. He still holds the records for the 100 and 200 meters at Hartnell. Mike went on to run at Fresno State, where he was an All-American and was inducted into the Fresno State Hall of Fame. As part of the 4x100 and 4x400 relay teams, Mike cherishes his time at Hartnell, remembering as one of the most fun and successful eras in his life. Accepting the award on behalf of Mike Ward is Dan Teresa. Let's give Mike Ward a nice round of applause, everyone. Our next inductee is Lloyd Higgins. Lloyd Higgins served as a football coach and women's softball coach and PE instructor at Hartnell from 1981 to 1992. Higgins coached football at Hartnell during a decade of dominance. The Panthers amassed a record of 83, 21, and 3, earning 9 postseason appearances, winning 7 conference championships and 2 Northern California titles. Lloyd was also the head coach of the women's softball team for 2 seasons. Higgins attended Texas Christian University, where he played tight end and linebacker. He earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in radio, TV, and film, and a Master's of Science degree in speech communications. Following his time at Hartnell, Higgins served as the associate principal at Berkeley High School for 5 years and in the same position at Lake Washington School District for 21 years. Lloyd found time while being an administrator to work with the Seattle Seahawks as a game day manager, overseeing field security. With a victory in Super Bowl 40, Lloyd was awarded a Super Bowl championship ring after the 2013 season. After 37 years in education, Lloyd considers his first 11 years at Hartnell College the most gratifying era of his career. Everyone, please welcome Coach Lloyd Higgins.
Good afternoon. First, thank you, Hartnell College Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, for nominating me. It's an honor to be inducted along with the first team that I was part of the coaching staff, the 1981 state champion football team. After the 1981 season, the defensive backs gave me a plaque at the football banquets. It was inscribed with the words, "Thanks for inspiring us to always improve and to go for the picks."
it shall be long remembered that the biggest stud can also be the coolest stud. Throughout my life, people have asked how I stay so calm and cool. I tell them it's very simple. I'm too blessed to be stressed. In the Bible, Psalm 103, verse 2 says, do not forget a single blessing. So as I reflect on my career in education that started right here at Hartnell College, I had 4 indelible blessings that centered around one person who was instrumental in launching my professional journey. That person was Marv Grimm. In 1981, I had finished my master's degree at TCU, and I moved to a place that I had never heard of, Salinas, California. I wanted to continue my training routine in the hopes of playing linebacker in the NFL. Blessing number 1. I was blessed to meet Marv Grimm through a friendship that I had with Joe Fonzie, who was a sports director at KSBW-TV. Joe saw that I was working out, trying to earn a roster spot with the 49ers, and decided to document my experience with a series of television interviews. When I made it to training camp as an undrafted free agent with the Oakland Raiders and was one of the last players cut, Joe Fonzie invited me back into the studio to conduct one final live interview. Immediately after the interview, someone at the station informed me that I had a phone call. Blessing number 2. At the other end of the line was the head football coach at Hartnell College. Coach Grimm stated he had one open position on his staff for a defensive backs coach. He also hinted there could be a teaching position if I had a master's degree, which thankfully I did. The next day, Coach Grimm introduced me to Tony Teresa and Frank Geller, 2 legendary defensive coaches here on staff. This was a week before the season started, so they took me out to the football field and proceeded to teach me everything I needed to know about coaching defensive backs. Now, Coach Teresa was a hands-on coach. He didn't just tell you where to line up or say, start here. He would grab you by the arm and turn you in the angle that he wanted you to teach. And that's what I loved about Coach Teresa. Blessing number 3. Coach Grimm taught me my first lesson in believing in the players and having the faith that they were well prepared. That lesson came in my very first game as a coach in that 1981 season. We were playing Foothill College, and we were down 7-0 in the third quarter. After Foothill scored, I passed by Coach Grimm on the sideline. I looked at him, and he looked back at me. And very confidently, with a wink in his eye, he said, "Don't worry, we'll get it back." Sure enough, before the third quarter ended, Anthony Tony scored his first Hartnell College touchdown on a run, and Danny Teresa hit Joe Hicks with a 43-yard go-ahead touchdown pass. The defense shut down Foothill in the fourth quarter, and we won 21-7. And finally, blessing number 4. I was blessed to learn how to coach under great men like Tony Teresa, Frank Geller, Gary Shaw, and Chuck Felice. But the greatest motivator and leader of men throughout my career at Hartnell was my mentor, Marv Grimm. I also want to thank 2 other coaches that I worked with on defense, Lee Charles McDaniel and Mark Camacho. Before I conclude, I want to give a quick shout out to the Hartnell College women's softball team. I coached them for a couple of years, and I want to thank them for helping me realize how competitive and spirited they can also be. And finally, thank you to my family for being here. My daughters, Angela, Rachel, and Audrey, and my wife, Sandra. In the early 1980s, way before Sandra and I met, she was a teacher right down the street at Washington Middle School while I was coaching football here at Hartnell. We were literally just a few blocks apart. And then in the mid-90s, still not knowing each other, we both moved to Seattle during the same month of the same year. My greatest blessing is that our souls eventually found each other and we're living happily ever after. Now, with much gratitude, I'm a Hartnell College Athletic Hall of Famer. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Coach Higgins. Our next inductee is Joanne Trevino Seams. Living an adventurous life that has taken her around the world, Joanne Trevino Seams also keeps her heart on the Hartnell campus. Now living in Italy with her husband, Joanne cherishes memories of working in the athletic department before retiring in 2016. Joanne is a Hartnell graduate 1982 to 1984, where her long career at Hartnell began as a student worker in the Office of Instruction. In 1984, she worked full-time in the Occupational Education Office before moving to the athletic department. Joanne assisted with everything from the functioning of the facilities to student-athlete travel. She served as a liaison between the office, other colleges, district personnel, local agencies, high schools, the California Community College Athletic Association, and the Coast Conference Commissioner and the public. Joanne was instrumental in working with the athletic director in the founding of the Hall of Fame, coordinating efforts with the foundation office, president's office, and the Hall of Fame committee. According to athletic director Dan Teresa, Joanne was instrumental in every aspect of serving our athletic and physical education department for 26 years. Her incredible smile and vivacious personality were contagious in everything she did for this college. She was a significant reason for so much success in our department for nearly 3 decades. A nice round of applause for Joanne Trevino Seams.
Hi, I am honored and proud to be included with all the individuals and teams that are getting inducted to the 2023 Hartnell College Athletic Hall of Fame this year. My involvement with Hartnell has been since the early 80s. I came from Holland, Michigan and moved to Salinas. Worked in the mall and started classes at Hartnell. Graduated in 1984. Had worked as a student worker in the Office of Instruction and then worked full-time in another department on campus in occupational education. In 1990, I started working. Marv had taken the job on as athletic director after he stopped coaching, and I started working in with him. Worked in the department until 2016, and then moved up to the Grass Valley area for 5 years with my husband, John Seams. And we both fully retired in 2021 and moved to Italy and are currently living an hour outside of Rome. I continue to work with the Hall of Fame each year, which has been a blessing. It's so nice keeping in contact with everybody. During my years in the PE athletic department, I had the privilege of working with Danny on getting the Hall of Fame started. Dr. Llewellyn, where are you? Thank you so very much for introducing us, helping get the program, the induction ceremony off the ground. Thanks to the committee members who put in their time and effort to induct the individuals and teams into Hall of Fame. It's an honor for me as it is for the others that have previously been inducted. Dick Andre. Thank you for your service and expertise on helping us recognize the teams from the past that a lot of us are not aware of. And for the book that you produced that had so much documentation in it, as well as the older Panther Sentinel articles. It was very instrumental. Thank you to my family. My kids are all here. Matthew, Jonathan, Sean and his wife Cece, and Michaela. And thanks to my husband, John, for being here as well. I am very proud of you and thank you for adjusting so well to Mom's work commitments and tending and or helping at games and practices many, many times. And my husband, John, thank you for all your love and support. I'm glad that we're sharing our current adventure in Italy and whatever else is in store for us when we come back to the United States. And to my biggest family ever, I would like to thank the many whom I have worked and interacted with over the last 30 years. There'll be people that I will not mention, and I'm just truly know that I cherish the friendship and appreciate the help and assistance I was given in the work environment. Includes the faculty and staff of the PE and athletic department, as well as the whole campus. And you, Kenny, you too. The local high school coaches, working with a lot of them in regards to facilities and just hiring different faculty and stuff to come in and help with our classes. Local boosters and supporters, for instance, like Kay Collins and the Hebert family and Maker, Bill Maker. Thank you for not calling me Puss. Okay? Community members and local businesses who have donated so many items to track meets or groundbreaking for our new facilities. The contributions to the programs are very, very appreciated. Past athletes who so often have come by our office, they're looking for their past coach, or they just want to come and see where it is that they played. They tell us of their positive experience and how nice it was participating on a team. We had many, many stories that these athletes would tell us, right, Marv? But Marv said none of the stories were true. And all of my great bosses that I had for the 26 years, including Marv Grimm, Glenn Hanley, Alex Golomake, Sherry Schumann, TJ Owens, Dion Miller, and Dan Teresa. Marv and Alex, you are the best. We worked our asses off together and we dealt with the good and the bad. Thank you for the 7:30 a.m. meetings. They were invaluable to my success in so many ways. Dan Teresa, it's been a pleasure working with you in the department for 25 of my 26 years. Getting to know your mother was such a delight. You've done a great job on instilling the Panther pride, especially in regards to facilities, the Panther emblem on the side of the gym, the new fields complex, baseball, track, soccer, and softball. Thanks for keeping me in on the one component working with the Hall of Fame committee, and I look forward to it in the upcoming years as well. And again, thank you for the special award, and go Panthers.
Thank you, Joanne. Our next inductee is Dennis Lennon. Dennis Lennon, known as the Dean, has the longest running broadcast career in KSBW's history. He covered some of the most iconic moments in sports, including all 5 San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl wins, the past 3 San Francisco Giant World Series championships, and 35 National Pro-Am golf tournaments held at Pebble Beach. Lennon covered Mario Andretti's final IndyCar race at Laguna Seca and 3 decades of the California Rodeo Salinas. Dennis won 2 AP awards as Best Sportscaster, and in 2010, the California Coaches Association named him Media Person of the Year. He was inducted into the Salinas Valley Hall of Fame in 2018. Lennon became synonymous with coverage of Central Coast High School and community college sports. Upon retirement, Lennon said, "I'll especially miss the excitement and the reward of covering youth sports on the Central Coast. which has been such a big part of my life for as long as I can remember. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my complete honor and privilege to have succeeded this man as the MC of the Hartnell Athletics Hall of Fame. Please welcome Dennis Lennon.
I bet y'all think I'm going to go on and on, huh? It all began. No, not in the slightest. I spent 35 years at KSPW TV, loved almost all of it. And if somebody once told me, if you spend long enough at someplace, somebody will give you an award. This is it, and I certainly appreciate it. Thank you, Danny, Teresa. Thank you, Hartnell College.
Thank you, Dennis. Our next inductee is George Watkins. As a sports writer with the Californian in Salinas for 39 of his 40-year career, George Watkins was a familiar presence at many Hartnell athletic events. He says he got a quick education on the vitality of sports in the Salinas area, where he covered his first Hartnell College football game. And that was in September of 1979. The stadium was packed with about 3,000 passionate Hartnell fans. His first thought was, I think I'm going to like it here. Watkins earned several awards for his writing, and in 2011 was bestowed the Media Award by the California Coaches Association. After his retirement in 2014, Watkins was inducted into the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame, recognizing his contributions to the rich sports history of the region. A sports writer and a columnist, his witty and insightful prose became a must-read for both sports fans and local residents interested in his slice-of-life observations. From the time he started at the Californian in 1979, Watkins reported firsthand on every sport highlight at Hartnell, chronicling championships by the 1981 football team, the 2004 soccer team, the 1998 women's cross-country team, the 1994 softball team, and the 2000 men's track and field team, among many others. Everyone, please put your hands together for George Watkins.
After listening to all these speeches, I was sitting down in my chair listening, and I'm going, what the heck am I doing here? Before I start in on that, I want to give 3 public service announcements. Number 1, don't ever rupture a knee tendon. Yeah, the closest I ever came to playing for Hartnell is I had the Hartnell team doctor do the surgery, and I came in about a month later, and he goes, your knee was a mess. Number 2, Mark Grimm, seems to be a popular guy around here. I just want to give you my condolences on the Dodgers not making the World Series again. But you're probably used to it by now. And third, I want you to meet my oldest boy, Rick. If you ever need anything in your house upgraded, fixed, repaired, and if he brings his barbecue with him, you're really going to have a good time. And last but not least, his grandson, Anthony. Anthony's an 8th grader at Palma. If Brother Dunn were alive today, he'd be totally freaked out. We sort of had a love-hate relationship, but we ended up in really friendly terms. Anyway, I feel real honored to be here today, but I think we're doing the whole thing backwards. Hartnell is honoring me when I should be the ones honoring them. Because when I came here, the only junior college experience I had was at De Anza College in Cupertino. And they had a football team, sort of. They played on Saturday afternoons at a neutral field. and very small crowds, of course. And it basically had all the atmosphere of a company picnic. Then I came to Salinas. Okay, this was like March of 1979. And I really didn't know what I was getting into. I had heard nothing about Salinas. I knew it was near Monterey because everybody would always say Monterey County before they would say Salinas. And so in the spring of '79, people were looking ahead to summer vacation and all that stuff. So it wasn't until school year kicked in September that I got my first lesson. And that's when I went to my first Hartnell football game at the pit. So I'm standing there in the press box, and I'm, watching people come in. 15 minutes before kickoff time, I'm looking around going, holy Shazam. Place is packed for a junior college game. I had no idea. And they stayed that way every year, every game for the next 25 years, or as long as Marv was there. But really what that football team did, it showed me the grip that the team and the folks of Salinas Valley, the fans, Hartnell, really had a good grip on each other. And they weren't going to let that thing go, and they were just hand in hand. And my first 4 years here, Hartnell football hardly lost a game. They won the 3 NorCal title. They won two state titles. They won 26 games without a conference loss between 80 and 84, or 80 and 82. And so I knew I had something special here. But what I kind of really did is the stories I would hear, what Hartnell fans would do. And one of them was, I can't remember the exact year, but it was on Highway 68. As you're going to Monterey, there's the mileage marker out there. It says Monterey 7. Okay, Monterey 7 miles. And somebody made a little sign that above the Monterey 7, it said Hartnell 14. And the only other one too is to show you how well coached this team was. It was during their glory years, and I was on the sidelines, and I could hear a conversation between whoever they were playing, Siskiyou or Yuba, or whatever. It was in one of the championship games there, and the two linemen, the offensive lineman from the opponent, was talking to Hartnell's defensive lineman, and he was saying, "You guys know our plays better than we do." I don't know if you can get much better than that. You asked why Hartnell was so great, and there's a lot of reasons, but here's an obvious one. The assistant coaches, the whole coaching staff. Gary Shaw, Hall of Fame. Frank Geller, Hall of Fame. Chuck Felice, Hartnell Hall of Fame. Mark Grimm, Hall of Fame. Lloyd Higgins, congratulations, you round out the coaching staff. It was the coaching staff of Hall of Famers. And I said this before, I know I said it in print at least once or twice, that they had a coaching staff that was about as good as any D1, that maybe not D1, but any 4-year school. I mean, I heard the stories about from Danny when Tony Teresa was the coach. He and Frank Geller would be having the 8mm camera up against the wall of the living room wall, watching every play until daybreak. I mean, it was some pretty incredible stuff. So Hartnell had this great year in 80, 81, 82. And in 84, here comes the Hartnell baseball team. Okay, what they had a little run at the end of the season that is the thing that movies are made of. They made the NorCal finals. The NorCal finals, they were like 4 teams there. Hartnell was probably the third best. And so what they did in the space of 3 days, 22 hours, in 90-degree heat, with their coach battling terminal cancer in the hospital, they won it all. And it was something you probably never, it was emotional, holy criminy, yeah. But I think that was probably, you know, with the football, then comes the baseball for what they did with Tony and for Tony. When I first started writing this script for today, I'm going, okay, I started on Monday. I figured, okay, I got 10, 15 minutes. Okay, let's revise that to Tuesday. Okay, we got 12 minutes. Revised it again Thursday. Revised it again Friday. And then I thought we had 5 minutes or 4 minutes. And I had this here, and then I hear it's 2 minutes. So I just bent the paper in half and took care of that problem. But I'm going to go over 4 minutes, and I don't care what you say, Danny. Just to give you a quick hit on some of these coaches I had to deal with. Marv Grimm. I mean, not Marv Grimm. You've already had your stuff. Gary Shaw, the track coach. Okay, Gary Shaw had most of his invitationals, track invitationals, on Saturdays. So he'd call me up on Sundays. I'd be working the desk. And Gary would go, let's just say you had the 1,600 meter event. Joe Schmo, 1,600 meter event, time 4:22.3. Little pause. Then he'd say, don't forget the .3. That's where he was from. Basketball was right behind. Jim Forkin had some great teams in the early 90s, had about a 5-year run of where they were in the playoffs, and every Saturday night at Hartnell on the gym in late January, February, it was a packed house. And I don't think there are a few things that sound more great than a basketball gym going nuts. And one of those little side issues on that is that I was walking after they'd beaten Cabrillo. I was following the team, both teams, down the stairs to the locker room. And like I said, Hartnell was played at a blistering pace. They were averaging like 90 points a game. And I could hear one Cabrillo guy asking the Hartnell guy, what have I got to do to play on this team next year? And that was Cabrillo, the heatest rivalry. I know MPC was a rivalry, but let me insert this before I forget it. The Cabrillo game in the late 80s was a war, literally. And I'd always keep the stats of the teams. I'd keep the rushing, receiving, passing stats for every game. So they'd get in there every Monday after the game on Saturday. But on the Cabrillo game, I decided to expand it a little bit because it was very hotly contested games. So instead of just putting the passing, receiving, and the rushing, I added 2 more stats of my own. One of them was unsportsmanlike penalties, and the other one was player rejections. That was a rivalry. Let's see. Last but not least, I know Alex Skolomek is out there somewhere, and for all he did, he took a team that they had a hard time. They'd have to go through a closet looking for a soccer ball to throw it out there on the field. Well, when Alex showed up, he was more of a, and he doesn't like to talk about it, but I run into his players from time to time, soccer players, and they would say, when it was all said and done, he was like an advisor, a counselor, a mentor, and a coach. He helped a lot of kids that didn't come from the greatest part of town, and I'd run into one every now and then, and they were a teacher. I mean, he set them straight on the field and off the field. And I think he wasn't the only one either. In closing, keep your applause down. I read when I first got here in, like I said, 1979, I didn't know much about Hartnell, so when I had a spare chance, I'd go into the archives in the library, Hartnell Library, and read the old clippings about what Hartnell had done. And then I was given a book by Dick Andre, who's here today, a fabulous book. 70 years of Hartnell College, covered everything. And I'm reading some of these stories about what Hartnell had done in the past, and it was like, it was unbelievable. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, they had stuff in there, you know, the shoes, and as you go into the gym at Hartnell, the basketball shoes, the track shoes above the door, the golden shoes or whatever. they were by Hal Davis, and back in the 40s, he had times better than Jesse Owens. He not only took the bus to Hartnell from Gilroy, he drove the bus from Gilroy to Hartnell. I mean, there were just tons of stories like that. It was really, and so what my mission was, sort of, okay, I know the first 70 years, sort of all what Hartnell has done here, but I'm trying to make, from that point on, I said, okay, whoever takes over this position of covering Hartnell sports in, let's say, 2069, I want them to know what happened for the next 70 years after that. And hopefully we got it all in there, or as much as we can. But it was some great stories, great times, great coaches, and they gave me some great material. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you, George Watkins. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we introduce the teams for 2023, we would like to take a moment and pay our respect and honor the memory of the players and coaches from the 1958 football team, the 1981 football team, and the 2005 men's cross country team. There are special people in our lives who never leave us even after they are gone. We do not remember days, we remember moments. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Please direct your attention to the video screens.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom.
An applause for the players and coaches whose memories will live with us forever. And now let's meet the teams. Introducing the 1958 football team. Please come up. Let's give them a nice round of applause, everyone. Turning in one of the most dominating seasons in Hartnell College history, the 1958 football team finished 9-0, outscoring its opponents by astonishing 256-42. Facing rival Monterey Peninsula College in front of 5,000 plus fans at their home field, the Pit, the Panthers won 54-0. Ranked third in the nation, the Panthers were invited to 3 bowl games, yet declined in hopes of attending the prestigious Junior College Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The committee chose Santa Monica instead, thinking that a Southern California team would draw a bigger crowd, leaving the unbeaten Panthers without a postseason game. The team had a strong contingent of all-conference and all-American team members. The co-captains elected by their teammates were Ken Blanton and Bob Harrison. The 5 All-Americans on the team were Bob Cavignon, Ken Blanton, Bob Harrison, Don Rourke, and Jim Steyerman. World-renowned aerobatic pilot Wayne Handley, who took his first flying lesson while a student at Hartnell, was the quarterback. Center Charles Bill Elliott went on to play at San Jose State University, and his enduring legacy at Hartnell led to the Bill Elliott Scholarship Program and the naming of the Panther football field in his honor. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak on behalf of the 1958 football team, please welcome co-captain Ken Blanton. All team members and family of those who have passed away will join Ken on stage.
Hello, everybody. I'm so honored to be here for this event. This particular football team, 1958, was a tremendous team. We won our conference. One thing I'm so tremendously proud of, that we were rated number 3 in the United States junior college football teams for football. I think that's a tremendous honor. We had a great team, but I was going to come up here and mention certain players that were tremendous on this team, but I can't hardly do that because I don't want to leave anybody out. It's a whole team effort, and that's what put this team in the place it was in. We had great coaches. We had Ken Blue, our head coach. He was the junior college coach of the year. We had Barney Muldoon, John Swellenbach, with Mr. No Cook, and we had Tony Teresa, in fact, for a short time. So this is a great team, and I only want to emphasize the fact for Hartnell College and Town of Salinas, this team was rated number 3 in the United States, 1958. But again, I want to reiterate that it was a tremendous team play on this thing by everybody, and I don't want to mention any particular players because, like I said, I don't want to leave anybody out. We played some great teams: Fresno, Junior College, San Jose, City College. We even flew to Compton, as you could read on that. We beat Compton, I think, 38-6 when they were the second team in their league down there against Santa Monica. Santa Monica, I believe, only beat Compton by 8 points, I believe, and they got chosen to go to the Junior Rose Bowl, which is a tremendous disappointment for our 58 team. We thought that we deserved surely to go there. We had tremendous fan support in those days. My goodness, we had fans. I think we had 4,000 or 5,000 fans at our game. Somebody at the Salinas, California wrote that we had like 6,000 fans at the last game of the year. We played against Monterey Peninsula College. We beat Monterey Peninsula College 54-0. And that was a tremendous game. Yeah. So I would like to thank Danny and his crew. They've been tremendous. I'd like to thank a couple other friends of mine. My brother Don Blanton, ex-Hartnell player, Charlie Elders, Charlie Elders, and Dave Warner also. I want to thank those people for this. But again, I was tremendously honored to play on this team for Hartnell College with Bob Harrison, our co-captain. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Ken. Next, ladies and gentlemen, is the 1981 football team. For Hartnell, the defending state champions, the question coming into the 1981 season was, can they repeat? Led by a legendary coaching staff, head coach Marv Grimm, assistants Tony Teresa, Frank Geller, Gary Shaw, Chuck Police, and Lloyd Higgins, and a core of talented sophomores, the outlook was promising. 1981 team, please come up. By adding a group of gifted freshmen from local high schools and a few from out of town, Hartnell would be more than ready for the challenge. The team was undefeated in the Coast Conference, outscoring their opponents 236-77. The last league game of the season was at rival MPC. It figured to be a slugfest with both teams fielding explosive offenses. Hartnell ended a 5-year drought against MPC, winning 34-22 and brought home the conference championship to the Salinas campus. The NorCal championship would follow, playing the College of Siskiyous. The Panther defense was able to get some key stops in the fourth quarter to seal the victory. The 1981 Hartnell College football team won its last 9 games of the season, culminating in the 21-13 victory over College of the Siskiyous and its second NorCal Division II championship. They were able to answer the early season question by hoisting the trophy. This team ended their season as the #1 ranked team in the state. To speak on behalf of the 1981 football team, please welcome Darryl Encalado. Make some noise for the 1981 football team.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for this honor of the induction for the 1981 state championship football team. I want to preface this by saying, one, I had a long conversation with our AD, Dan Teresa, and I was supposed to be 10 minutes. But according to Chris and Dan, it's supposed to be reduced to 2 or 5. But I will try to do the best I can to summarize our experience at Hartnell. One, we'd like to thank the board, the administration, longtime friend and AD Dan Teresa, the once-in-a-lifetime coaching staff of Coach Marv Grimm, Tony Teresa, Frank Geller, Gary Shaw, Chuck Felice, and of course, Coach Lloyd Higgins, our team managers and trainers. Would like to have or say a hopeful, speedy recovery to our teammate and friend, Mike Grimm. One of the things that I want to point out is I'm going to provide a couple of examples of Hartnell football. One was the infamous Junkyard Dog Awards that were given weekly to our teammates. The Junkyard Dog, I think, epitomized our team back here, and I can assure you that that award was a very special award for one of us to have during the week. One of the great inspirational conversations, pregame talks that Coach Grimm had with us was against Cabrillo. I can't use the colorful language that Coach Grimm provided, but I can assure you that every one of the teammates remembers the Cabrillo Blue Bloods, and so a few choice words. I can assure you after that game, we were not going to allow Cabrillo to beat us that day. So thank you, Coach Grimm, for those inspirational words. Want a quick shout out to be able to play on the championship team, 80 team with my cousin Micah Gron and my 81 team with my brother Dante. Thank you to Cel Esperanza for all the hard work, long hours and dedication, trying to track down everybody and keeping everybody informed. So Cel, thank you. Our brothers from Ohio, Illinois, Boston connections, all of the local players from Salinas High, Alisal, Palma, North County, King City, Gonzales, and of course, North High. The life lessons we learned in the 2 short years under the guidance of the Hartnell coaches will last a lifetime. Pride, passion, tradition, and an unwavering belief in that we were the best. Eternally grateful to them for the rest of our lives. To our teammates, thank you always for being ready for every challenge put on our way. You are absolutely the best. To our families that are here today and to those that have passed, thank you so much for your support. Many of our teammates and coaches knew Dante and our mom and dad, who were diehard fans, especially my dad. And they didn't just root on the home side, they chose to be on the opponent's side. They wanted to antagonize the team to the point that my dad eventually got in a scuffle with one of the teams. I had to drive my family home. They would be super proud of their sons, not just these sons, but all of their sons. They treated the Hartnell team as though it was their family. One of the things that I mentioned to Danny that I think all of us, before every game, it would start out right before we walked out onto the field, and it was Coach Teresa. He'd gather us all in. We'd be a big huddle, and Coach Teresa would start off with as a whisper, Panthers, 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 Panthers. Ah! It would be an emotional ride. I can assure you of that. Coach Teresa would have us bouncing off the walls. I can assure you if it was possible, we would have ran through a brick wall. I can assure you of this, that this team is not just a bunch of teammates, but they're brothers, they're family. And I can tell you that we are eternally grateful to all of you that have ever supported us. To Coach Grimm, I told him that we deeply love him and the staff, his family. This could not have been possible without his guidance. And so to Coach Grimm, thank you so much for being there for us. And so with that being said, the last thing, as I just told Danny Teresa at Stoney's last night, let's go Panthers! Thank you very much. By the way, sorry, real quick. I will be donating 2 of these to be. I'll be donating 2 of these. These are Hartnell Panther cushions. In the back are some sponsors, but these are back-to-back state championship cushions that would be donated to the college, and they'd be put in the trophy case. So again, thank you.
Once again, everyone, a nice round of applause for the 1981 football team. Our next team to be inducted is the 2005 men's cross country team. Let's put your hands together for them, everyone. Using its amazing team depth to full advantage, the 2005 team won the Northern California Cross Country Championships by an exciting 2 points in the final home meet for Hall of Fame coach Gary Shaw. The 2005 team was victorious despite not having any individual runner, finishing in the top 5 overall. Nick Shea led the way, finishing 8th, followed by Jose Garcia, 10th, Bo Rogers, 14th, Eder Tostado, 19th, Chance Carruthers, 22nd, and Scott Edwards, 31st. The Panthers withstood a fierce battle from Diablo Valley College to win the title. The Panthers dominated the Coast Conference Championships, enjoying a sweep of the top 4 places and all 5 scoring in the top 6. Their team was a full 3 minutes ahead of runner-up City College of San Francisco. Jose Garcia won individual honors, followed closely by teammates Nick Shea, Chance Carruthers, Omar Mendoza, making a clean sweep for the Panthers. In the NorCal preview meet at Toro Park, the Panthers won by just 1 point over Diablo Valley College, led by Jose Garcia in the 2nd overall, who established a new Hartnell College Toro Park record for the course. Other members of the 2005 team included Michael Lucio, Roberto Mendez, and Jeffrey Schaefer. The Panthers were undefeated against Northern California competition through the state championships, where they placed a respectable 6th as a team, one of the best team finishes in program history. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak on behalf of the 2005 cross-country team, please welcome Eder Tostado.
Thank you, everyone. Whoa, this is awesome. Hartnell is the best, probably, I think, hope. I'm an immigrant to this country. I graduated high school. I did not know what to do. And then this awesome man, he's in heaven now, Coach Shaw, called me. He said, hey, do you want an opportunity to do something more, continue running? If you run good enough, you'll get a scholarship, go run to university, and pursue your dreams. I'm very sure that my teammates had the exact same experience. Get a call from Coach Shaw in the summer. Here's an opportunity. Let's see how far it goes. And the wonderful thing about Hartnell athletics is that in high school we were actually competitors. We had North County, Salinas High, Carmel, Watsonville High, Aptos, King City, all over the place. And the wonderful thing about Hartnell is it actually brought us together. And it took a man like Coach Shaw to mold us into young studs, actually to champions, give us an opportunity to be champions. Hard work, dedication, he instilled a lot of that stuff in us. Cool thing about Hartnell is not only did I get to compete and pursue my running abilities, I also met my beautiful wife, Eileen, and we have two wonderful kids. She was also coached by Coach Shaw, actually, which is awesome. That's just really what I feel Hartnell does or has done, not just for myself, my teammates, and probably a lot of you guys here present today and for more kids to come, is it gives us an opportunity to continue pursuing our athletic endeavors, our academic endeavors, and then just be, productive athletes, productive human beings long after we're done with Hartnell. So I really just want to thank Coach Shaw for giving me an opportunity to continue that running and athletic career. And I want to thank to my teammates. There's a bunch of them. Most of them, families carrying on, everything like that, couldn't make it. But we have Nick and we have Omar here. It was so awesome because there wasn't any one of us that was the top runner, the individual runner. It was a team effort. And I think that's something that made us super competitive as opposed to other teams, is that everybody leaned on one another to endeavor beyond what we could. If I was a regular runner in high school, I had to come here and hang out with these killers to bring the best out that I can. And Coach Shaw also instilled in us to work hard, eyes forward. He said, if you want to be an individual, try and run a 4-minute mile. That was his thing. You want to be an individual, run a 4-minute mile. But you're part of a team, so encourage each other. And I don't know, it was fun. This has been awesome. I'm very thankful to the coach, my teams, family, and I look forward really to contributing to the future of future Hall of Fame athletes. I don't know, I haven't met every single one of you guys, but I'm sure Hartnell has impacted you guys the same that it's done for me. So thank you to Hartnell Athletics, and look forward to contributing to continuing this legacy of Hartnell Athletics. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a quick reminder, the tailgate party is at 4 p.m. at the Storm House right next to Rabobank Stadium. The football game is at 6 p.m. at Rabobank Stadium, Hartnell versus West Hills. All inductees or their representatives will be honored and recognized on the field during halftime of the game. Finally, we invite you for a very special part of today's celebration. We will take a short walk to the gymnasium and unveil your plaques on our Athletics Hall of Fame wall. There are students and staff outside to direct you. Once again, everyone, make some noise. Congratulations, Hartnell Athletics, Hartnell Hall of Fame Class 2023. Thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you at the game. Go Panthers!
We'll be walking over to the gymnasium to unveil the plaques. So we'll walk over there. Let's make our way over there. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations to the inductees. Thank you.
As we unveil your plaque, we know you're part of that greatness, and you're going to be part of that feeling as we walk through the hallways every day, day in and day out at Hartnell College. Congratulations once again. Congratulations to Hall of Famer Dan Teresa. Are you ready?
You ready? You got that side? See, can you get it?
Yep, I got it.
All right, let's go.
pictures by, you guys can come down here if you want, wherever you want. Go ahead and take pictures.